Welcome back to today's video. So many people who wanting to migrate, who have migrated or still have this question of how they're gonna parent kids in a foreign country. Parenting is a huge challenge. It is a huge responsibility. But imagine parenting them without much family support, all by yourself in a new country, in a so much new culture, in a completely new culture, in a different religious setup, in a different social setup is a huge challenge. So in this video, we're gonna see my personal opinion about the different challenges as a parent most of us go through, or it's just my opinion on different parameters. So we're going to talk about the social challenges that the kids will face, and the religious differences, the culture shocks, the attitude change in children, the education system here, and how they deal with finances, and even toilet training. We're going to talk about it all. So let's check out today's video in detail about all these parameters.
If you're new to this channel and don't know me, I'm Dr. Priya, PhD in biotechnology, academician by profession, moved to Australia as a skilled migrant in 2016, got my permanent residency, filing for my citizenship this year. And this channel is all about educating and making people aware of the different types of visas and process them without getting scammed by spending thousands and lakhs of rupees. So make sure to hit the subscribe and turn the notifications on to be instantly notified of the new videos. Without much delay, let's get on to today's video.
So the first and foremost challenge is the culture shock or the culture change. So when I talk about culture change or culture shock, it's for the parents and for the kids. So we are in a new country. So if you see here, the students do not address the teachers as sir and madam. They call them with their last name, so Mr. whoever, Mrs. whoever, or Miss whoever. And sometimes some teachers get called by their first name. So it is a very relaxed, easygoing culture, which is pretty good, but initially it will be hard to take in. And when you're teaching, students cross their legs, sit like this, and you will not believe, yesterday my son who is in year 4, his classmate used a swear word on his teacher, and when the principal came to investigate, he threw sand on him and he was suspended for 2 weeks, which is a 9-year-old. So you can imagine the teenagers, college, whatever. So it is a big challenge when we listen to such stories. And there was once when my son and his classmate, I picked them up from school and they were talking at the back, which is the biggest swear word? Is it the B word? Is it the C word or the F word? And I was like driving in a state of shock. I'm like, how do they even know these words? I'm talking when he was 6 years old. So it is so common because some families use them as a common term in their everyday life. So they think the B word or a C word or a F word is so common. F word is very, very common at workplace. You will find that cultural difference when you go to work here, depending on the organization you work for. But at the school level, it will be a huge culture shock, and it's, as parents, it's our responsibility to make sure we don't use such words in front of children, and also tell the children that it's not appropriate terms for kids to use such languages. So we have to be always vigilant, like policing them all the time, and that will definitely help. So that is the very first challenge, the culture differences. And main challenge that we face as migrants is the dual life. Okay, so there's so much imbalance as migrants, because we are first generation migrants in Australia. So we are in between. We don't know where to draw the line, how much we can practice our cultural beliefs here, our religious practices here, how much we have to impart to the next generation. It ultimately comes down to personal decision, how much ever you want to bring to your children. But there's always this dilemma of which side to go and how much to distribute. So that is another important challenge when we are trying to celebrate festivals where it is just a normal word. Imagine Diwali, imagine Dasara, imagine Pongal, So everything is just another work day here. Nobody knows about it. They're just going to work. Normally, you have 100 things planned in your head for Ganesh Chaturthi. You want to do different types of food. You want to do puja. You want to do so many things. So it depends upon how much you want to get involved in Indian society, or in your language like Punjabi society, Tamil society, Malayalam council or whatever, and then how much you want to practice it. So that is a huge challenge as migrants, especially as parents, how much you want to take it to the next. The third main challenge is the level of independence and autonomy. So here everybody is so independent, right from kids, right from birth. When they're babies, they get a separate room, they have their own space. But we are not used to such things, isn't it? So we have been used to huge families, a lot of people. So it comes to personal choice whether you want to, be an Indian here, or, like be a Roman in Rome. It has its own good and bad. For example, we still co-sleep with children, like we sleep together in a single room. So now, though we have the separate room, we don't want the kids to sleep separately. Even the kids don't want to. They're very scared, and they're not used to it. For 9 years, my son has been sleeping with us. So now when I was concerned, when I raised it to my husband, he was like, in 2 or 3 years, even if you beg them to sleep with you, to spend time with you, they're not going to do it. They will need their own space. So enjoy it while you can. These are treasurable moments that you're never going to get back, especially when they are growing up here. They tend to be more independent. So that kind of concerns me, because both of them are boys, and you know how boys are. So it's our personal choice. We didn't want to do that, but people do it here, which is not wrong. There's nothing called right or wrong. It's just challenges how much we do it. For example, toilet training in primary school children. There are some Indian parents who don't train them to wipe themselves off. I've seen in one of my friends, my son's friend's classroom, where he had an urgent thing to go to the toilet, but he was not used to cleaning himself up using tissues, because the parents have always washed him. So these are the things that we might have a little bit of hiccups once we move and we're trying to settle here. So especially when it comes to boys, even girls, that would be our next challenge, the digital challenge. Like, what are the kind of games your children are playing, and what kind of video games or gadgets they're addicted to, you have to watch. And the kind of YouTube channels they watch. When you go into the search history, you will find something which is not appropriate, but kids' channels these days are unbelievable. So we have to be mindful. We have to police them what they're watching without their knowledge, and even the iPad usage, whatever stuff they see. It's so much of social media contents are readily available to children at any age, and they make them so vulnerable at that age. So it is, as parents, we have to handle the digital challenge very, very, I would say, in a talented manner. Otherwise, it's going to be a huge, it has a huge impact on the children. This is our fourth challenge, the digital challenge. And the last but not the least, another significant challenge in parenting is the language issue. So in India, we used to force the children to talk in English because we don't know how much English medium, it makes the children speak English, and within friends, we always tend to communicate in our regional language. But here it's the opposite. Children get very, very comfortable talking in English. They tend to forget their mother tongue, their regional language. So what happens is you will not even realize it, because you're used to listening a lot of English here, so you feel it's normal. So even when you ask question in your regional language, children will tend to be more comfortable in answering back in English, and you have to be mindful of that, because they will just lose that comfort level and they cannot communicate in our regional language, which is not a big deal for some people. But me as a person, I want my kids to talk in my language to my parents, to my relatives, to all people back home when we visit them. So that is something that I don't want to miss out. And reading, they should know to read books. So I'm sending them for Tamil lessons on Sundays. So it's up to you. Some people might think it's unnecessary, and that's not wrong. It's up to you how much you want your next generation to carry your language. But that is a challenge if you're someone like me who's insisting. So I think I've pretty much covered the basic challenges. Last, I want to touch upon the safety of children, especially here. Girls, the main thing is when they go out, when they party, you should be mindful of whom they're partying with, and what kind of, whether it has alcohol involved and under alcoholic influence or drugs. Drugs is very common here, and that's what they say when you have boys, you have to be only mindful about the kind of kids they hang out with and drug usage, because drugs is very common here. So these are stuff that are very, very it freaks me as a parent, it freaks me as a mom, and I go nuts when I think about such challenges that comes along the way. But I've come 4 years now, and there is a huge difference in me parenting my children here as a migrant. So you will adapt in your own style, but I think this video will benefit for people who are planning to move or who are moving and who have faced this challenge. They will think, okay, I'm not alone, I'm not the only maniac. Because when people say this to me, I'm like, okay, I'm not the only maniac, there are people like me, so I'm not alone. So this video is for people like me who should not feel alone. So it is normal, you as a mom being concerned about your child's welfare. So if you like such videos, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, if you like this content, subscribe to my channel and turn the notifications on to be instantly notified of my new videos. And I'll see you all in the next video.